Good morning, everyone. Good morning, fellas and ladies. Those are mechanically inclined to get as crazy as some of us do. I got some very interesting things that I've kind of sorted through and figured out. I think I got this thing solved, and I want to check with you guys to see if you think I'm off my rocker here. Before we do, I'm going to do something I used to do a long time ago, and I haven't done in a long time, and that's tease you a little bit. So it's breakfast. We just got it off the stove, but before I get into this, I need to eat something, and I'm going to have a breakfast pizza, which is egg scrambled and put in a pan of butter with some pizza sauce, some cheese on it, and then whatever kind of toppings you like. We had some ground venison and some bacon bits from our ham, from our own pigs that we raised and butchered. And I got to get to eating. I'll be right back. Hold on, don't go nowhere. And okay, we're back. Let me minimize this. So let's get into this. I want to thank two folks, and you can read their comments. First off, Marlene Paul and your son, or your nephew. Your comment and no comment. I'm not going to read them. You can go read them because I want to try and be brief here. Let me minimize this. So those two individuals led me to kind of understand what's going on here a little bit better because it hadn't clued into me. So as I explained, my friend noticed that the pedal was not coming up as high as it needed to be. Now here in the picture you can see the push rod right here that goes into the clutch master cylinder, and this is an adjustment nut or bolt or whatever you want to call it that hooks to this pedal. This is the pedal right here. It's almost hard to see when you crawl up under there because it's very hard to get your body in there, twist it around, and be able to see up here. But there is also this bolt, as I mentioned in the last video, that is the adjustment for how far the pedal can come back up. Alright, so what I'm going to explain to you is what I think happened no, I don't know why it comes up when I do a recording, but no, go away. So the onset of the issue started, weeks ago. And weeks ago, what happened was I started losing pedal. Like the clutch was wearing out, and I was having to go all the way to the floor with it. And the night before I started working on it, I was having real trouble just getting it into gear. It did not want to go into gear. And I needed to figure out what the problem was. That's why I was tinkering around with it to see if I could at least temporarily get the pedal to where I could use it so that I could, go get parts if I needed to, or whatever needed to happen. So I wasn't, down and out until I could get what I needed taken care of. So I messed around with it, and I think that is what caused the shift in the condition from being failed closed to failed open. Okay, and there are three pieces of information that came in. When you read those two comments, you'll see how they apply. And then when shut up, I don't want to do this while I'm doing a video. So this is what I think happened. You see this bolt right here? This is the pedal up limiting bolt. So that sets how far up the pedal comes and partially the amount of travel that you have. So there's some travel adjustment here for the amount of fluid that you're going to pump into the master cylinder, and or from the master cylinder to the slave, and then there's the return that gives you amount of travel back up. So here's what I think happened, and y'all tell me if you think, you mechanics out there, tell me if you think this makes sense, because it makes perfect logical sense to me, and it wraps up all the issues into one nice tiny little neat package. Well, yesterday when I went down, we towed the truck down to Ken's. We spent all kinds of time pressure washing it, cleaning it up, all that, and you're going to keep doing that. All right, sorry about that. And Ken had noticed, and that's when the light bulb came on, and I said, well, let's see what happens. And now I understand why. When I see how it works, it cleared up with me. So you see this bolt goes all the way through, so there's a bolt on the back, and there's a nut right here. The bolt on the back is to hold the bolt in place. The bolt, this nut here is to lock the bolt in place. And I have yet to do that in its current position, and I need to take this little silver nut and run it down and lock it down to hold it in place. What I think happened is this came loose, and over time this bolt started slowly working its way down here. So you can see how much travel I've got here, almost 3/8 of an inch of pedal hold down. So if this was extended, the pedal would not be able to travel. So I had already adjusted this, you can see, almost to the end of its threads, and it's going to do this. I'm going to have to deal with it. It's going to do this. So I had adjusted this all the way out. Well, guess what? This thing worked its way down somewhere, and in its time doing that, hey honey, I'm not sure if my speaker is going to get that. It's kind of loud. Yeah. Hang tight, honey. So you guys may not hear that, but I hear it over top of my own voice. So anyway, what I think happened is this bolt slowly worked its way down, and as it did that, it restrained the pedal from coming back up, which in effect decreased the amount of hydraulic fluid that you could pump into the slave cylinder, moving the lever to open up the clutch. So opening up the clutch became more and more difficult in time as this bolt was working its way down, till it finally got to the full extension of the bolt, and this bolt and this nut were flat on this piece of metal right there. Okay, so that's what I was experiencing. That's why I wasn't getting clutch, because I could not get enough fluid into it to open the clutch. Then what happened next? Well, I tinkered with it. I was going, okay, how do I get a little more, because I knew I had already made an adjustment on this. I think it was last year, some time back. So I got to messing with it. And it's not till, okay, in hindsight, it's not till I see in hindsight the conditions that I was experiencing and how that all gives me clues. So whenever, and ladies and men, whenever you talk to a mechanic, please do give as many details as to conditions that have changed, because it will help the diagnosis of what the issue is, because it's not till all these pieces came together do I truly see how this unfolded. So, I knew there was an issue here when I adjusted it a year ago, when I was seemed like I was starting to lose pedal. But I was pretty sure that it was a maybe the clutch was a problem, but it shouldn't have been, because like I said, I think the guy changed the clutch out about 40,000 miles ago when he did it before I bought it. So he had rebuilt the engine, and I'm pretty sure he had said that he had done the clutch, but I couldn't remember for sure. So what happened here is this bolt came down, and what I observed as I was, the last few weeks of traveling around in it was real hard at first, but once I got to moving and I was pumping the clutch a bit, it seemed like it would come back. Well, that's what was happening. I think I got a little bit of leak pass in the clutch master cylinder. I think there is some, so it may need to be replaced again. Obviously, I need to change the fluid out, because you saw how kind of dark it is. Maybe I just need new fluid. That might be the trick for that. But when too much running. When I adjusted this and I backed it out to where you see this position is that, what that did was allow the pedal to come back up. and then that allowed me to, or the master cylinder, to draw in enough fluid to truly move the clutch forward enough to disengage it. But it had been disengaged. So what I suspect happened is, in that period of time that I was tinkering with it, and I had tea pumping on it while I was under there trying to get a shim in there, what happened, I think, is she did like I normally do when I'm traveling around, as I'm pumping the pedal, and that's building up a little bit of pressure enough for it to work properly. And what that did was, all her pumping on that while I'm trying to finagle with it down there caused it to build up enough pressure to open up the clutch completely and stick it there. Good gracious, has never done it this much before. So once I backed this bolt out, that allowed the clutch master cylinder to draw in enough hydraulic fluid to now move the pedal, or move the lever on the transmission its normal travel distance, and things are working properly now. So, little wonky the way this one little bolt slowly slipping down created two conditions, because once, you know, we were tinkering with it and she pumped it full, that bolt prevented the pedal from coming back up and releasing enough fluid in the slave cylinder to allow the clutch to come back. So it was a catch-22 both ways, if you see what I'm saying. So you can have what should be perfectly operating equipment, but one little thing moves like this, and it can change all your working conditions. I'm still going to get the clutch, and I'm going to keep it, because considering supply chain issues and the age of the truck and where we're going in this world, I think it would be good to have a new clutch on standby, like I have with a lot of other parts. I got extra hoses, belts, this and that. I got a lot of filters, and I got all kinds of stuff stacked away. New set of tires for it. So I've got a lot of stuff to keep this truck going for a long time. So I'm going to keep that. And switch back over here. So something so simple can disrupt your functions pretty quickly, and we're seeing that in the real world all over around us. This is why I've been telling you folks so long, please learn to do things. Ladies, I know our social structures had it to where men have been kind of doing this kind of thing for us for a long time. However, I think it's time we all share the knowledge. Knowledge is a beautiful thing, whether you necessarily use it at all. It keeps you understanding what the world is like around you, why things are happening, being able to decipher these things. And when this system shuts down completely, supply chains are going to quit. Good mechanics are not going to be the greatest in financial or growing food and things like that, and we're going to lose people. We're going to lose a lot of knowledge, a lot of talent, and a lot of the growth our civilizations had over the last 100+ years. So don't be afraid to learn. Men, I implore of you, get your wives, your girlfriends, your children's, your daughters, and educate them on what you know. Pass this information on. Stop compartmentalizing everybody. Love and care for everybody to learn as much as you can. This is a simple thing. I don't think there's anything wrong with my clutch. I'm not going to, at least at this moment, not going to consider changing out the clutch at this moment. Because, like I said, based on its operations yesterday, it did pretty darn well. Even Ken seemed to think it, other than maybe fine-tuning the adjustments, the pedal seemed to do just fine, and the transmission did real good. It had real good grab and go. I mean, there was no issues in, there's a couple tests that he knew, well, If your clutch is going out, try starting out in second at a dead stop and see if there's any slippage or anything like that. And there wasn't. It was right and tight. So thank you very much for all the input. I had no idea where this was going. I was fully prepared to take on the clutch replacement, but thank God I don't have to. I just learned to monitor and manage my systems a lot better. As I tell everybody when it comes to the solar equipment that I help build and install systems with, you need to learn this because you may not have any help when it comes time to diagnose issues that you might have in your system going down the road. Thank you all so much for coming along on this little ride. Hopefully you've learned some things, and hopefully you will apply some diagnose techniques and some the ability to ask for help, because even though some of the suggestions in the first video weren't applicable, they were things for me to learn and think about, and I'll know more next time. So anyway, that's it. Y'all be blessed, and we'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Goodbye.